Hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Amala Epinobi, but I'm also going to be the new Iron Man. It's now Iron Woman. I felt as though Iron Man was a little bit too aggressive when supervillains show up. I think we're just gonna talk about our feelings and we'll work it out that way. Are you guys excited? Does that sound like a terrible idea? Well, it is apparently what Robert Downey Jr. proposes we do with the entire world. Let's talk about it. Guys, before we get into this viral Robert Downey Jr. moment, please like and subscribe. I want as many people to find this channel as possible so you know what to do. So with this new Oppenheimer movie coming out, you know, the Christopher Nolan film that everybody's so excited to see and Robert Downey Jr. is featured in, he's been doing a lot of press. And some of that press revolves around the idea of patriarchy and war as this movie centers around the creation of, you know, a bomb. So let's hear what he has to say about patriarchy.
I was curious if you took away any commentary on patriarchy and war.
Men start wars, and the entire planet should be a matriarchy. But I've never changed position on that.
So you already had that going into this.
Well, this is just a triple confirmation.
Curious.
Oh, Robbie, Bobby. This is such a bad take, and for so many reasons. First of all, it brings about this idea that Robert Downey Jr. thinks that all women are just compassionate, nurturing, that they're never going to do anything nefarious or violent, even when violence is necessary. He even thinks, women will not be the ones to engage in war, and thus proposes a matriarchy. You'll come to find, if you know women, that is not necessarily true. Although we can make generalizations about the way that women act, and we do tend to be compassionate and nurturing, he proposes that the world be a matriarchy. I guess first acknowledging that he thinks we're currently living in a patriarchy where the world is run by men and we sit under their thumb as women.
I don't know if you're noticing a theme, patriarchy.
We know that to be false. But the idea that you must flip it on its head and have women rule the world and run countries and be all of our leaders is, it's quite asinine. It's very similar to when you hear these red pill men say something along the lines of,
if all women disappeared tomorrow, the world would still run. Men can do it on their own. They do all of the important jobs in society, and women don't really do anything.
You see how it doesn't make sense. You see how the two sexes complement each other and we live in congruence with one another, coexist with one another in a world where both of us are necessary to lead in different areas, to pick up the slack for one another. And that's the way it will always be. This fighting between the sexes and pitting one against the other and saying one is better or one needs to lead doesn't make sense, and it's not going to get us anywhere. So the whole matriarchy prescription, I don't think we should fulfill that. Before saying the world should be a matriarchy, Robert Downey Jr. claims that men start wars. Let's do a quick fact check on that. He said that Oppenheimer, in being part of this film, triple confirmed that idea or that claim for him. Had he taken one moment to do a quick Google search, he would have found that women also engage in military aggression. Let's get a few examples, shall we? In 1982, Margaret Thatcher responded with military action when Argentina invaded and occupied the Falkland Islands. Even US President Ronald Reagan, a spooky white heterosexual male, told her that she should utilize peace talks. Did she do that? No. The first female president of South Korea, who served from 2013 to 2017, was labeled dangerously aggressive. Who'd have thought women could be aggressive? And just one more for giggles. In the US in 2011, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton urged President Obama to take military action in Libya, although many male counterparts told him to do the exact opposite. So I think we've put to rest the idea that only men start wars. And let's address one last thing before we point out what is blatantly obvious. He asserts that men start wars. He never really acknowledges the fact that sometimes aggression is necessary. Think about the major wars that have been fought in this world and the men who stepped up to be leaders, to fight said aggression, to combat negative forces on their countries and others, to defend the defenseless, and to keep the rights and privileges of others alive within their respective nations. Think about all the aggressive male leaders who stood up during World War II to fight off the Nazis and Hitler. And you can basically fill in the blank for any war and find there were aggressive male leaders who did what needed to be done. And if we were going to live under some matriarchy where women are ruling the entire world, I would expect said female leader to step up to the plate when aggression is actually necessary. That's not to advocate for war, that is not to warmonger, it is just to say that sometimes you need somebody who's going to take that stand.
Some things are worth fighting for.
Now let's point out what is blatantly obvious about the statement that Robert Downey Jr. made here. It clearly was not an educated one. He does not know the history of wars and human civilization. He is not aware really of the temperament of women. He is just stating generalities and stereotypes that makes him think the world would be better off in a matriarchy. And he does so because he wants to pander. This is the approved message of the modern day and age, and Robert Downey Jr. is doing nothing more than espousing that message. And let us not forget that Robert Downey Jr. is the same man that is advocating that we all start eating bugs and turning to insects to get protein.
This is a powder derived from the mealworm, and it's a insect protein just been approved by the EU for human consumption.
And you know, Robert Downey Jr. is a mixed bag. You know, sometimes he says something that I can stand behind, like in his defense of his role in Tropic Thunder.
I don't know what we were thinking, but now that I see it, I'm very proud.
Other times he's telling us we should live under a matriarchy and that we should all be eating bug protein. But isn't that the case for all people in our lives, right? Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. And I have to state how much I disagree with his statement about living under a matriarchy in this video. It's flat out wrong. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Should we be living under a female-dominated world, a pure matriarchy? And would there be no wars if that was our reality? Drop that in the comments down below. And as always, I encourage healthy debate, so duke it out, but do so respectfully. And like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I'll see you next time.